We talk a lot about how to motivate ourselves. We talk a lot about how to learn faster, how to study more, how to be more productive. We talk about the best schedule that will help you to fit 10 more things per day, and of course, yoga before going to bed. Every day we watch people on social media sharing their success, progress, and achievements. I remember waking up every single morning and check my Instagram just to see more of the people I follow share their weight loss, new language they learned, new degree they got, or new job. Seeing people succeed, especially my friends, made me want to study more, eat less, and wake up earlier. Little did I realize that in reality, it was just putting more pressure, more anxiety, and more fears on me. I guess it all started in middle school. I remember my parents and all my profs were telling me that I was a very talented kid, but a very lazy one. And the reason was that if I didn't like something, it was almost impossible for me to make myself do it. And it was way stronger than my power of will. For example, instead of practicing piano or reading music sheets that I hated, I was just playing some music from my head, the melodies I heard on TV or just something I created. But that's how I found something I really like now, music production. The same thing happened with my language classes. Instead of doing my English homework, I was just going straight home and watching K-dramas, watching anime with subtitles, and watching English YouTube with subtitles as well. And to be fair, that's how I started understanding Korean, Japanese. That's how I learned English as well. However, to my parents, it always seemed like a waste of time. Of course, I would never blame my parents. I completely understand that they were always worried about me. They always meant the best for me, and in general, they were amazing parents. I love them a lot. However, this is how it started. Something I call my overachieving mindset. Even though none of my parents' comments bothered me as a child, it still got stuck in my head. And now, years later, I realized that it actually affected me a lot. Wasted potential. A talented kid that will disappoint everybody. A kid who won't succeed because she didn't do her homework again, because she skipped her extra classes, because she didn't go to gym today. They were always all worried about me, not even realizing that it would actually almost destroy me in the future. My first year of high school was a big change moment for me. That was the time when I figured my goals for me, or at least one goal. I decided to study abroad in Canada. And to do that, I had to change my behavior a lot. I had to get the best marks at school. I had to create a designer portfolio. I had to learn English and perfect my French that at that point I was spending a lot of time on learning on already because I was participating in the all-country competition. It was kind of a big deal. And for all these things, I only had 3 years. But the idea of me moving out to a different country alone was so inspiring that for the first time in my life, I actually started doing things that I hated. My parents were very happy seeing me growing as fast as never. I started going to the gym and exercise a lot, started studying a lot, getting awards and winning competitions. I wasn't partying much, though I had time to be very social. I had a lot of creative people I was meeting. I was a part of a literature club. Oh my god, it sounds boring, but it was actually very, very interesting. I was performing with my own music. I was performing in the theater. My parents were proud. People around me were telling me that I'm doing so many things, but I always replied like, no, I'm not doing that much. I don't know what you're talking about. And the thing is, I wasn't a humble girl. That was the way I was thinking. I never thought that I was doing things. And soon enough, it became not doing enough. I finished my school pretty well. I got accepted to every place I applied for, and I moved to Canada. Inspired, excited, a little bit scared, but ready to crush it all. And so I did. My first year of School of Design in Canada was the best studying experience I've ever had in my life. I was a really good student with really good marks, and I also had time to help other students. And yeah, I was that one loud kid in the class who always like talks to the prof, because I really enjoy what I did. I was participating in after class activities and clubs, and I even found a small part-time job so I don't have to ask my parents for pocket money. I was happy with how cool I was. I was finally doing something, even though I was constantly reminding myself that it would be nice if I would exercise more, eating healthier, if I would, I don't know, get a higher GPA and stuff like that, if I would find more friends, more connections, if I would do freelance from a portfolio. This is how my first year ended. After school during summer, I went to Paris to see my friends and to St. Petersburg to see my parents and perform with my own music. However, something felt off. I found myself not enjoying anything. I didn't hate anything either. Every single thing felt like nothing. Even though my description of life back then sounded like a very exciting movie, I couldn't even force a smile. I remember walking on the Paris streets, seeing people laughing, watching Eiffel Tower, being on stage, spending time with people I love, and feeling nothing. I got mad at myself. I was calling myself spoiled and unthankful. The whole summer, I was only thinking about going back to school. I thought that if I'll be there, everything will go back to normal. I couldn't recognize myself. The energetic and positive me was gone. Well, people outside could still see it because I was very good at pretending that everything is okay. I started pushing my own limits just to feel something. That cost me friendships, and that indeed made me feel something. It made me feel sad and lost. When the second year started, I was even a little bit excited. I was like, finally, now I'll feel as before. Except I didn't. Nothing changed. More than that, I realized that what I was doing was not enjoyable anymore, and that feeling was very scary. It made me question the path I chose. I was blaming myself for not studying hard enough, for not working enough. I was feeling guilty. Even though I had classes from 8 to 6, I got a job at Starbucks. And I actually liked working there. Talking to people, meeting new people, making coffee, all those things used to make me happy. So at that point, my schedule looked like I was waking up at 4 a.m., I was going to my shift at 5 a.m., and then I was working till 11:30 a.m. and going to classes at 12, and being at school till 6 p.m., going home at 7 p.m. I was starting doing my homework, and I was going to bed at 11 p.m. just because next day I had to wake up at 4 a.m. again. And almost every single day was like that. At the same time, I was kind of blaming myself for not exercising enough, so I started walking. Instead of taking a bus to school, I started walking for 55 minutes and 20 minutes to work every single day, even though it was minus 20 outside. I clearly remember that I stopped going to after class events and clubs. I remember I stopped going out, stopped spending time with friends. I even missed the concert I had tickets for. I just didn't have energy for anything. I couldn't study well as well, and I was feeling so guilty for that. Even though before I used to come up with like 10 different ideas per like hour, now I had to spend days to finish one project. And the worst thing, I didn't understand why I felt that way. I couldn't figure it out. Then everything changed. I honestly don't remember how the first pandemic started, but I clearly remember the first day when I found myself alone at home and I didn't have to go to school, I didn't have to go to work because everything got closed. I didn't have homework to do because all the exams got cancelled. It was just me and the free time that I was craving for so long. I asked myself, what should I do if I have so much free time? Before, I would just dress up nicely, go get some coffee, go for a long walk, get some groceries, cook a meal I like, do some music, like paint something, do something creative. But I didn't feel like doing any of that. I was still feeling so exhausted. It was finally time to stop and take a deep breath, but I just couldn't. It felt like a fear of missing out, though I had nothing to miss. I also noticed I got especially sensitive. I started crying again, and I just couldn't get myself together. At that point, it's been weeks of me not doing anything useful, and I started asking myself questions. Why? Why do I feel this way? I finished school pretty well. I got good marks. I didn't do anything wrong. Then why can't I rest? Why can't I find my peace? Why do I feel so anxious? Why do I feel that I did something wrong? To make myself feel better, as a lot of people back then, I decided to make my pandemic useful. I tried to exercise more, to do some home workouts, tried to cook more, tried to read, tried to watch some webinars and study, but I was so terrified because I couldn't force myself to do any of that. I couldn't force myself to do anything creative either. Even video games were making me sick. For the first time, I had to admit to myself that I simply forgot how to relax. No, not the walk or meditation or the bath type of relax that we all saw on Instagram, or like read a book instead of working your laptop. Not that kind of relaxing, but the rest I needed. I simply forgot how to do it. And I decided to start from scratch. Sleeping. I decided to turn off all my alarms that I had for years and just let myself sleep as much as I wanted. I started going to bed at 10:30 because that's when I was feeling very sleepy and tired, and waking up at 11. And in the beginning, even this wasn't easy, because I'm that kind of person who, if I wake up at 11, I feel guilty because I'm like, oh, you should wake up at 8 a.m. or at 7 or at 6 and do so many productive things. You can work out, you can read, you can do your homework. Like, you lost so much time. I was blaming myself for waking up late even though I had no things I needed to do. It took me a while to get used to this, but when I did, I actually felt better. I also realized that I kind of want to paint again, and I let myself do it. I was trying to stop judging myself for playing games with friends, because to be fair, that was the only way I could socialize and spend time with them. Because of the pandemic, everything was closed and I couldn't even go out. And I also got a Switch and I got Animal Crossing, and honestly, that was my little savior. I was finally excited about something. I was waking up in the morning excited because I wanted to check my island, water my plants, fish, go see my friends' islands, and that was something that was filling me with a very positive energy finally. Accepting the fact that I was doing something not useful but enjoyable was actually very helpful. Meanwhile, I was thinking a lot about my parents' behavior, about the way I acted through the school year, and I was journaling. I was trying to understand, what did I do wrong and why did I feel so bad? I spent 3 whole summer months trying to be okay with not doing anything, and I was also getting ready mentally for thesis, because even the second year of just classes was very hard for me, so I knew I needed a lot of energy to keep on going next year. September started and I actually realized that I was feeling better. Instead of pushing myself to study, to work out, to take care of myself, I actually felt inspired to do so. The feeling of inspiration about something was long forgotten at that point, so I was very, very happy to find myself feeling that way. I started walking and running and eating healthier, not because I had to or thought that it's good for me, but because I genuinely wanted to. I started spending more time with my friends because I really felt like it again. I also realized that I don't miss my deadlines anymore, and that I don't have to go to bed at 5 a.m. to finish my schoolwork. Apparently, you have so much time during the day that I was able to finish everything I needed. I even had some free time to play games or relax or play tennis or do whatever I felt like doing. It's February 2021. I'm working on my thesis, I'm having my internship, I moved to a new apartment, and now I live with a cat. This new year, I made a special wish. The wish I never asked for before. The wish was about finding a balance with myself. I started this year writing a long list about the things I'm proud of. Before, I heard from people that I do a lot or I inspire them, but honestly, I never took it seriously. I just thought they're being polite to me. I always had that feeling that I'm not doing much or I didn't achieve anything in my life. But I didn't want to feel this way anymore. I wanted to be proud of myself. And surprisingly, the list turned out to be very long. When I was writing it, every single time I was like, wait, I did this, right? I couldn't believe in that. I was feeling that I was looking at someone who I would admire, who would inspire me, but it was actually me. I honestly don't know where this trying to make your success look less significant is coming from, but this is definitely something I'm struggling with. One of the main reasons why I wanted to make this video is because now, looking back, I realized that I had and I have so many people around me, people I love and care about, that have the same problem. A lot of them, just like me back then, they don't realize that they're struggling with this. It's not easy to share something this personal, but I think it's necessary. This is something I wish I heard earlier. I think things like that should be discussed along with the praises for excellent marks and success and stuff like that. During these years, my desire to get better, study more, achieve more, clearly became an obsession. And as any obsession, it was very hard for me to accept and admit the fact that this is something that can ruin me. I don't think I'm in the right place to give advice and claim that this will definitely make you happy and healthy. And I strongly believe that if you struggle with anything, if you really struggle with it, you should go and see a therapist, because this is the best decision you can make. There is nothing wrong with asking for help, and just a 2-hour session can make you feel so much better. Maybe there is something that you're missing and it's just in front of you, and you just need someone to guide you to find it and to see it. But I do have some tips that I was using during my process of recovery, if I can call it like that. I was using them unintentionally, but now I realize that they did help me a lot. So here are some tips that helped me to escape from something that was slowing down my progress, ruining my health, ruining my friendships, ruining my all relationships, and just making me feel like garbage. First of all, sleep. I know this is something we all heard about many times, and if you're okay with your sleeping schedule when you go to bed at 4 a.m. and wake up at 8 a.m. and that works for you, that's great. The question is this actually working for you, or did you just get used to it? I keep telling to my friends that sleep is incredibly important. For me, I have to get 8 hours of sleep every single day, and I have to get into bed before 12. Otherwise, I just feel very tired and can't really do much. I do recommend to start with letting yourself sleep as much as you need. Turn off your alarm, and yes, you might feel like you're wasting time in the beginning, but trust me, this is the step back that you need to do so you can move forward in the future. Second thing that helped me a lot is journaling. You might think that you already know everything, know about your progress, but trust me, visual part of it is very important. I know for sure that we all do the to-do list when we plan what we're gonna do tomorrow, next month, and in the future. And for me personally, lists like that always make me feel not productive enough, because to be fair, a lot of us just plan more things than we can actually do. But try to make a list of things that you already achieved, things you're proud of. I'm sure you'll be amazed how far you went and how much you did. Third thing, if you have the same problem as I did with resting and just relaxing, try to think about the things you were doing when you were a child, things you found enjoyable back then. For someone, it can be writing stories, poems, whatever, or maybe drawing, or maybe playing Nintendo. Remember how when we were kids, we were always busy all the time, we were doing something, even though none of those things were really useful. Try to pick up one of those things, but don't make it a chore. Try to make it enjoyable. If your everyday schedule is filled with work, and self-improvement, then you're not gonna get anywhere. You will end up with a burnout, with a creative block, you'll end up exhausted. Life needs balance. And in our case, in case of overachievers, the balance is doing nothing. Another important thing is next time when you're getting praised by someone, try to take it seriously. For me, my mistake was that I was thinking like, oh, next time I'm gonna work hard enough because they're saying this just because they're pitying me. Or something like, oh, they're just being nice to me. No, next time try to think, I did a good job. This was a good effort. And trust me, small things like that matter. Another thing is eating properly. I'm not gonna talk about how it's important to eat healthy and why, stuff like that. I know all of you heard many times about it, but I have to admit that when I started cooking for myself, I just felt like I have something under my control and I felt loved and taken care of. And I guess the last thing is that just realizing that you're an overachiever and you have that trait in your character is already very important. I think it's the first step. I wish before in high school someone would come to me and say, you did a great job. You're doing great. You don't need to rush. Everything is okay. One step at a time. Look how far you already made it. But I'm very thankful that I finally heard it for myself. And now I say it to you, and I really mean it. You know you did a great job. You know you went through a lot of things and it wasn't easy, but you made it. And you're getting stronger. Give yourself a break you deserve. Please, trust me. You'll make it in time. All your dreams and hopes. But don't forget about today. Nothing will be more real than today.